And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Have another exciting show on tap for you this evening. But before we get to our special guests, I do want to recap the latest that has been happening here at Brevard College with the athletic program. First of all, big congratulations to men's soccer back-to-back USA South Conference champions. They win the USA South Conference Championship in dramatic fashion and penalty kicks, and they go to the NCAA tournament for the second straight year. They faced off against a highly ranked Emory University team where their Tornadoes were eliminated this past weekend, but a lot to be proud of with the Brevard College men's soccer program. Congrats to the entire program. Women's soccer, a big year as well. USA South runners up and a school record in the NCAA era for wins in a season. Congrats to them. Football, we'll talk a bunch of football in just a few minutes, but they conclude their season with a 5-2 record in the USA South. Once again, another big year in conference play. And some breaking news earlier today, George Rennie named USA South Conference Offensive Rookie of the Week. We'll talk football in just a few moments. Volleyball advanced to the USA South Conference tournament. Congratulations to the Tornadoes volleyball program. And cross country, a trip to the NCAA regionals as well. Great stuff there. NC Cyclocross Grand Prix, that goes off this weekend, Saturday, Sunday at Jackson Park. The Tornado cycling program will be in action. Just a fantastic event where you'll see some of the world's best race as well, beyond even the collegiate racers who will have there, and some of whom will be in the elite category. That's Saturday, Sunday, Jackson Park in Hendersonville, North Carolina, if you check out the sport of cyclocross. Men's basketball, they'll be back in action Tuesday, 7 o'clock. That's tomorrow in Greensville, South Carolina versus Bob Jones. And then they'll hit the road for 2 games in Birmingham, Alabama, part of the Black Tie Classic. Men's basketball's next home game will be Tuesday, November the 21st, 7 p.m. at the Bosch, part of a men's and women's doubleheader. Speaking of women's basketball, BC wins its opener 80-60 over Bob Jones at the Bosch. And then the Tornadoes will be back in action on Thursday in Greensboro at Guilford, and then back at home Friday at 6 p.m. at the Bosch. It's Arby's Youth Day for that women's basketball game. I hope you can come out on Friday evening at the Bosch. And then part of that men's and women's doubleheader, once again, do want to make sure you mark your calendars. Tuesday, November the 21st, women's game starts at 5, men's game to follow at the Bosch as the Tornadoes host Warren Wilson. We'll talk men's and women's basketball later in the program as well. But first up is the Brevard College football program, and going to welcome into the program now head football coach Bill Khayat. Coach Khayat, thanks for joining the show.
I appreciate you having me, Phil. Good to see you.
Likewise. Well, before we get into the season that just came to a close, I do want to touch on that weekly award that we mentioned in the open. George Rennie wins the USA South Conference Offensive Rookie of the Week, and just a fantastic nod to George, who I know has worked hard to get to this spot, and would love for your comments on that award and what George Rennie represents for this program.
Well, he came to us from Wingate, where he did not play football, was just looking for an opportunity to get on the field somewhere. And from conversations with him and the things that we knew that he would be able to bring to our program, we welcomed him with open arms. And I'll tell you what, from the very first meeting we had with the offense, the note-taking was exceptional. And I saw that when he came up to me after the first meeting with his little marble notebook and had it opened up, and I could see the information that was written in there. And I was with the detail within those notes. And then the that he asked, so he could find out ways to get better before he had even stepped on the field for the first time. And that note-taking never ceased, and the play on the field continued to improve. And he was the type of player that, all right, in order to get a look, we're going to put you in a JV game and see how you do. He would go into the JV game, be unfazed. He actually scored the first touchdown in our scrimmage, believe it or not. And Then, the other important thing that guys don't think that we look at are what you do on the scout cards, meaning you're pretending to be the opposing player. And he was just making plays left and right. So we made the decision to put him in on special teams and see how he could do in a true game setting with the team on Saturdays. And once again, did not let anyone down, and to no surprise, played extremely well. And that finally allowed him to get in offensively. Been chipping away each week, getting his feet wet, and has performed beautifully every single time he has gone out there. And it was that was the honor that he truly earned. That was not given to him in any way. It wasn't because there was really nothing else or no other options. I mean, when I tell you that man earned that, I'm extremely proud of what he did.
Outstanding. Well said, Coach. Well, another successful year in the USA South Conference, 5-2 in conference play. And when we look back even earlier than that, when we think about, the recent history of Brevard College football, the last 5 seasons, there's your conference record, 23-9. That's a 719 winning percentage. Coach, would love for you to reflect on this year, hitting the 5-win mark in conference play. I know the last couple weeks, not the results the Tornadoes were looking for necessarily, but a great season nonetheless.
Well, I appreciate the compliments, Phil. And I mean, really, when you think about Brevard College, when you look at enrollment, we are the 4th smallest school playing football. We have no business winning any games. I mean, maybe a gimme here and there getting one. So I think it's truly remarkable, those records that you just put up on the screen. I'm extremely proud of everything that has taken place within this program to achieve all of those victories. And, when you really look at how the season closed out last year, that was really the beginning of this year's season. So to lose an all-time leading scorer in to lose 2 McKissick Award winners and Parker and, Yoder, I mean, that's tough. We lost a defensive player to an FCS program where he played significant time and even started at one point. So that's a lot of manpower, firepower to have lost. And, to start with what we had, I mean, we had a roster this year that was lightly salted with some age, with some older guys out there, but it was heavily peppered. And so we were really in what would be a rebuilding phase if they're looking and saying what we should be doing. So, our program started with 187 guys that checked in back on the 8th of August. And to many, well, why do you need that number? And what are you doing with it? Every single one of those players was truly important to us. And there are limited opportunities for high school players to play college football. Well, I know that I have the staff that has the wherewithal and ability to develop young men into tremendous. So if I had an even greater staff, I would take more players, but there's really at some point a limit. And it was just great to give all 187 of those guys an opportunity to be a college football player. And that's what we wanted to do for those guys. And we treat everyone with the respect and the dignity they deserve. And it was wonderful during the course of the year to watch all of those players discover what their role is with the team and do an exceptional job at their role. And, you look at the start of the non-conference schedule with the 3 games, and we were able to do things this year that we had never done before. And it was starting with that Warner game, despite all of that youth out there, to see us come back from such a large deficit. With all the success we've had, I've never seen us do that. We didn't just fold up shop. And then, the second game playing a Hampton-Sydney team, which is an ODAC formidable opponent, and going on the road and having a lightning delay, and same thing, hanging in there tough, watching our team start to find its identity. And then a tough battle at home against Averett in the final non-conference game, and a 3-point loss. So all of those games really built the character of who we are. And it was great to see a team this year, for the first time, understand the power and importance of the culture. So don't worry about the schemes. It's not about the personnel. The execution is truly important, but oftentimes the execution is culture is not there because there's too many guys pointing fingers when things go side. All of that build us up to the moment at Maryville for the conference opener. And, I know I painted the picture. I think that was the last time I was on Tornado Talk with you, Phil, but I painted the picture about the movie and just staying there afterwards. And I didn't want to leave the field. And that was really something for our players to get the confidence that they needed. They'd been working at trying to get that win, and you're almost there. And then, it just opened everything up for us. And that's when we went on that absolute tear. And I mean, it was really the culture that was created, but then the mentality of our team. And that mentality is what was able to help us achieve the victories, because you want to talk about the physical play. Sure. I mean, that's necessary in football, but the mindset in an athlete goes so much further than elements that you put in there. And if that mindset's right, you can accomplish. That's why we were on such a roll, and 5 consecutive wins. And then, everything changed with the events that took place after that game at LaGrange. And, that was just a situation that, for us, I mean, we're unsuspecting and unprepared and, defenseless, and we were attacked. And, it did a lot of damage to our play, mentally and emotionally, eliminate the physical part. And, that was the moment in our season where everything changed for us. And, I'm proud of the guys for what they were able to do in the time afterwards. Because again, November is our best time playing football. If you look back in the history of Brevard back to 2018, we're 10-2 in November or the late spring. And I mean, that's our time to shine. And we're playing 2 teams that are state capitals. I mean, they're pulling guys from Montgomery and Jackson, and it's Alabama and Mississippi. That's not too bad of football. So, for us to be able to do the things that we're able to do, I'm certainly proud of the guys. And, it was just hard as a head coach to have to talk to those players about, well, what was a lesson learned here? When you see some of the things that took place, and, the attack on us, and a sad moment for our guys. And, for me, every one of those players are my children. I look at them that way. I treat them that way. I talk to them that way, and I protect them that way. And I've told them numerous times, long before that incident and since, how much I love them, how proud I am of them and their accomplishments. So, to go into Huntington and have to play them for the 5th consecutive time where they've had 2 weeks to prepare, that's a tall ask. And, but the guys were just emotionally and mentally drained, and it was just difficult to hang on for that victory at the end. And then certainly we just have the manpower going into Belhaven. I mean, that's a formidable opponent. And without the leading receiver in the conference, the 2nd leading rusher, and 4 starters on defense, all due to the fallout and the equity and punishment that was handed to us. I mean, it was just a difficult and tall ask, but those guys fought tooth and way down, and I literally could not ask for more from my guys, could not be more proud of the accomplishments that they had. I'm just devastated for them for what could have been. Now, certainly you play football. I mean, if it was just based on before the kickoff and who should win, who shouldn't, well, then why play the game? So, of course, anything could happen in the game, but it would have been nice to see those last 2 games be what could have been with the mental and emotional state of our team had things they did. But when it's all said and done, Phil, I've never had people email, text, give phone calls, talk face to face about what a great season we had, and that they were just so proud of this team. And I think that what makes everyone so proud about our accomplishments is how much they truly like the individuals as a person. We just have the most wonderful kids, greatest roster we've ever had. And like I said, the accomplishments that they had this year were remarkable to be the head coach of this program.
Appreciate all that, Coach. We're just about out of time, but I do want to give you the chance to speak of the two student athletes we're going to invite into the program here, because you spoke about culture, you spoke about what has been built up here at Brevard College, and we want to celebrate these two, and also the senior class that we were able to recognize a couple weeks ago, along with all those grad students and so forth. So we're going to invite into the program a couple of student athletes here. A couple just absolute household names around the Brevard College campus by this point. Toby, Naylor, and Jock Pledger here. But before we let you go, Coach, how about a final word for NATO Nation on these two? As their illustrious careers, just it's worth reflecting and celebrating upon.
Well, in a different setting, in a different MC, you would hear a man who needs no introduction. When you look at these two guys, there's no way these are two men that are the face of the program. Sure, you can look at the statistics and over 250 tackles and 45 plus games for Toby Naylor, but it's the unseen leadership that you wouldn't know unless you were in the locker room, that if you were out at practice every day. And I mean, this is a man who I have professional scouts coming to me asking me if they can tap into our film so they can watch him play. So that tells you the level of his play on the field, but it's that leadership that allowed us to all those accolades. I'm sure you'll probably put some graphics up at some point about all of the things. Could not have been done without a great man. And you think about football and coming from across the pond. I mean, United States, it's not typical for guys to grow up and be a great curler or a cricket player. And, it would be typical for somebody where Toby's from to be a football player as such. And to watch him come in from his very first time out there and look like a natural. And then he took multiple coaching from, he had, as coordinators, multiple position coaches, learned so much, and you saw it all play out in the field. Jock Pledger. What a pleasure to have Jock Pledger on that team. Now, you can sit there and talk about stats again. 40-some games he played in, 14 interceptions. The one thing about Jock for me that stands out is in all the crucial moments, and he can attest to this. I am not making this up. He would pull me by the arm and look me right in the eyes. And this is on the football, middle of a game. He would grab me by my arm and look me right in the eyes and say, Coach, he would say, Coach, I got you. And guess what? He'd produce pass breakup, big tackle, interception. So these are two fine young men and perfect examples of exactly what we want to represent Brevard College football.
Appreciate that, Coach. Very well said. And enjoy the relative offseason. I know you guys are right back at it with recruiting and so forth, and getting ready for spring ball and all of the above. But just want to thank you once again for your leadership. It's been a lot of fun to cover Brevard College football for another season. And
I thank you for all your support with the program, Phil.
You got it. Head coach Bill Khayat. And Coach Khayat helped introduce these two. And most NATO Nation who's tuning in probably already knows a bit about these two, but Toby Naylor, the graduate student, the linebacker from Southampton, England, in that top right location. Toby, how are you?
Good, thanks, Phil. How you doing?
Excellent. And Jock Pledger with us as well, also a graduate student, defensive back from Monroe, Georgia. Jock, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Phil. How you doing?
Great to have you guys on the show. Well, Toby, before we kind of get into sort of like, I want to reflect back on each of you guys' total experience and so forth. But, fresh off this season, you guys battled. Tell us a little bit about this year's team, Toby, and, what made this year's team special, a blend of veterans and young guys. You got guys from JV coming up and making contributions, all these things. But, what was it about this team that was special to you, Toby?
I think Coach Khayat said a lot of the key factors about our team, about the mix of age groups and really the resilience of the team. I think the big thing was how much kind of adversity we went through together. Obviously, we were 0-3 in our non-conference games, but came so close to winning all three of those games. We could have easily, swung it the other way and won those. I think it was just that early on test that we went through together really brought us real close together. And then that huge win at Maryville, the overtime thriller, which was crazy to be part of that experience. And from then on, we just got closer and closer. We pushed each other harder and harder, especially on defense. I know Jock can really attest for this, how much we demanded of each other, of our teammates, and how much Coach Bayless demanded from us. I think that's what really kind of brought us together and helped us go on this run that we kind of went on late in the season.
Yeah, and Jock, from the defensive perspective, can you give us a few more details, kind of what Toby was talking about there? What made you guys exceptional this year?
Just the ability for like everybody wanting to buy in, like do their job. Like there wasn't no like standouts, I would say, who wanted to just be themselves. Everybody was wanting to grow. Everybody wanted to become better and do their job and win. And like that's what we all had in common. So I feel like that would had a big part of our unity that we had on defense.
Yeah, well, congrats on a sensational season for both of you guys. It was so much fun for us to cover you from up in the box and so forth for the home games and beyond. But Toby, I do want to take a moment. You and I were actually talking earlier the last couple of weeks or so. And, almost every year we get to check in with you, here on Tornado Talk and kind of feel the progression. But here we are. You're a graduate student. I don't think there's any more eligibility in the back pocket unless the compliance office can figure something out. But Toby, as you think back to your whole career, and like Coach said, coming over from England and, taking on this challenge of American football and so forth, can you sum it up, as far as the total experience for you?
Wow, that's a tool ask, because it's been a great experience overall. I mean, I've loved every single second of it. I can't express how thankful I am to Brevard as a program and the coaches and players for making me feel at home. Really, just the best thing has been meeting everyone. I mean, I've met so many friends for life here. I've met great coaches, just people that will forever be in my life. And that has been my favorite thing. Sure, the football's been fun. I've progressed so much as a player. I've grown so much as a man, and I've learned so much. But the people I've met will be part of my life forever, and that's been probably the number one thing that I'm so thankful for this experience. I mean, it's been difficult and it's been a long road, that's for sure. Kind of adjusting to living in America and how everything works out here. So it's definitely been a challenge early on. But yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. I loved every minute of it. So.
And same opportunity for you, Jock. Can you sum up your Brevard College and your Brevard College football experience?
I mean, it was great. I came here with a fellow high school football player, but then he ended up leaving to join the military. And so I kind of had to branch out a little bit, and I found some really good people these past 5 years who've helped me grow, great coaches that helped me push me to get to where I want to be. And it's just been great, and I enjoyed every second of it.
You see the graphic there. You're both part of that Scotty Whitelaw Bowl championship. But, what a way for each of you to get your, college career really off and running quickly. Can you reflect back on that one, Toby, in particular? That Scotty Whitelaw Bowl. What a moment for Brevard College altogether, and for you all as the team. I can only imagine how that must have felt.
Yeah, that was a whirlwind. Obviously, my freshman year, kind of fresh to America, fresh to all of it. And I'd known Brevard had some prior success, but they're on their way up. But it was like the first 3 games they were telling us we had the best record like ever. We were like breaking records left and right, and it was, looking back on it now, it's like a whirlwind. It was so fast, it feels like. And the fact that I got to play a lot of football my freshman year, what I really wasn't expecting to do. I thought I'd come in and be a special teams guy and earn my way up, but the fact I got to play early and often, which was amazing, and to help bring the team to that level and bring the team that ring was it was incredible. It was really kind of quick and fast and unexpected, but it happened, and I'm glad it did. So,
is there a moment from that year, Jock, that sticks out for you?
One moment. Maybe when we went to Dave & Buster's up there, and everybody just had a blast in Pennsylvania, and that's when we all figured it out that, hey, we can go win this. Like, there's nothing stopping us. So that was a good moment.
Yeah, Brevard College defeated Carnegie Mellon in that bowl game, a school that's had football for, maybe over a century for all I know, and one of these brand names in NCAA Division III and all this, and this unknown team from the mountains of Western North Carolina heads up to their place and gets the win. Big moment there. And then we go on and, just What a time to be a college student, very unusual times with, the pandemic and all these things, and, shortened seasons and spring football season and all this. But the Tornadoes, you all continue to have big success. The defense setting all sorts of records, winning a co-championship for the USA South, just all sorts of success. The Islamel family field kind of coming into fruition in terms of a home venue and us playing games here at Brevard College. A lot has gone on in your time. Is there another moment or memory, Toby, that, you'd like to maybe convey and that'll kind of forever be etched in your memory bank?
I think probably a big one would be, like, obviously with the whole pandemic and COVID situation. It was when we, as a team, were all living in Jones together. A lot of the kind of stuff we got into there, a little bit of trouble here and there, but definitely just the good times. Like, we were all in one building together. We could hang out. You could walk into about anybody's room and, it's a teammate, it's a brother of yours that you know very well. And so that was a lot of fun. I think that year that brought us real close was that first full semester where we all locked in together, and then we got to go play in the spring. So that's a big one of all the kind of situations we got into there. It was good fun.
Very good. Jock, is there another memory from the career, maybe a game or an environment at Islamel Family Field that sticks out for you?
Probably spring 2021 when we beat Huntington 24-3. That was a big win for everybody. We had to prove to people that we were the team that people wanted to fear, and we were the team that people didn't expect much from us. So that was a big win. Offense and defense playing solid both ways of the ball. A little rainy day, nothing beats the rain in Brevard. So, but it was nice.
Yeah, and it was really the arrival of that new home field advantage that the Tornadoes enjoy now at Islamel Family Field. Toby Naylor and Jock Pledger join us, two just sensational careers. The accolades: Toby, second team all conference twice, defense, a D3 football team of the week selection, and all region selection as well. And Jock, a second team all American, also a 3-time D3football.com team of the week selection. The honors go on and on. Well, you're both graduate students here at Brevard College. So Toby, tell our audience a little bit what you're studying, the degree that you're aiming to collect here, postgraduate, which you're working on now, and then, your future ambitions.
Yeah, so I'm in the graduate program for health and human performance, and it's with a focus in strength and conditioning. So that's what I'm, hoping to graduate and get my master's degree in. Future plans, long term, I would like to be a strength coach. That's what I'm really passionate about. I want to stay involved around football, so potentially college football, maybe higher, but definitely staying around football and being a part of still the football program. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to aim to do with my degree.
Jock, tell us what you're up to in the classroom, graduate student here at Brevard.
I'm getting my master's in health and human performance as well, and strength and conditioning, same as Toby. And I plan on going into coaching and one day becoming like a high school head coach would probably be where I want to be. So,
Jock, one more for you, because we're sometimes into sort of breaking news here at Tornado Talk, but baseball this spring, we have the opportunity to see Jock back in the baseball uniform on the diamond.
Yes, you will see Jock on the diamond spring.
Very good. You heard it here first on Tornado Talk. Jock Pledger will be back on the baseball squad this spring. Outstanding stuff. Well, before we let you go, guys, do want to, just commend you again for some, just a tremendous career here at Brevard College and, all the leadership you've provided as well. But do want to give you, as is tradition here at Tornado Talk, an opportunity for shout outs, thank yous, anybody, who you want to make sure you give a hat tip to. Toby Naylor, the floor is yours.
Oh, last shout out ever. I think this time I just want to shout out Brevard as a whole, like the school, the community, the coaches, my teammates, everyone. I mean, for the past 5 years, this place has been my home, away from home. Definitely wasn't easy moving away from all my friends and family back home and moving to a new country by myself. But I mean, it wouldn't have gone any better if I'd gone anywhere else. You guys have made it such a home for me. I've met some, like I said earlier, so many great people. So just shout out to Brevard really for just giving me a home, really. So yeah.
Outstanding. Jock, shout outs?
Shout out my teammates. Love my teammates. Wouldn't be where I would be at now without them. And, there's been some great professors along the way, and I want to shout them out as well that have pushed me. Great coaches, my parents, grandma, come to every single game there is and can't beat it. So great support. And also I'd like to shout out the Fox Block. That's our little our DB group on the field. So I'd like to shout them out as well.
Very good. Toby, Naylor, Jock Pledger, two sensational careers at Brevard College. Appreciate all you've done for the program. Best of luck in your studies, Jock. Can't wait to see you down there at Gilcone Field this spring. And go Tornadoes, fellas.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
All right, there they go. We're going to switch gears quickly and go indoors to the hardwood as men's and women's basketball season now underway. And we're going to invite in head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson. Coach Hudson, welcome to the show.
What's going on, Phil? Can you hear me okay?
I can, and this means we're back at it. We're a new season underway, and Tornadoes women's basketball well underway already. A big opening win, 80-60 over Bob Jones at the Bosch, coach. So first, let's start there. How did you feel as the leader of this team, and good start to the season, obviously, whenever you get a W, but 80 points on the board as well had to feel good.
Yeah, it was, Phil. And just like any other coach going into your very first game of the year, you're kind of unsure of what to expect. You haven't really seen your team compete against anybody else. You've just been going at each other for so long. And so there was a little uneasiness there for myself the night before. But we just trust the work that we put in. We've had a really, really good start to the year as far as practice going, and we're ready. We're ready. The girls came out. They shot it okay. Had 21 assists on 33 makes. That's something to really, really be proud of. But the coach in me has always found something to nitpick at. So we didn't defend the ball as well as we would like. Gave them a few too many second shots. But overall, Phil, like you said, I can't complain too much about a 20-point victory in an opener. Glad we got that opening win under our belt. And we can try to push forward, try to fix some of those things that we had issues with in that game and be better going forward with this week with Guilford and Meredith coming up.
Yeah, and it's kind of an interesting schedule, Coach, because you have the opener and then you've got an 8-day break, 7 days in between the two games, November 16th at Guilford in Greensboro, and then it's part of a back-to-back. You play 2 games in a row. Can you tell us a little bit about, maybe the challenges, but maybe the positives too in the way that schedule is laid out for you early on here?
I'll start with the positives. Around this time of the year, any coach is just trying to get the best out of their team. And so with the games being 7 or 8 days apart, that gives us a lot of practice time, a lot of time to work on ourselves, and a lot of time to prep for these 2 games coming up. Those are the positives that'll come out of it. But the negative is just a long layoff from playing. We try to simulate those things in practice in the gym, but it's nothing like playing when the lights are on and butts are in the seats. You got referees in there and everything. So the pros are we've been really able to work on some of the things that we need to work on as a team. But the cons of it is just a long layoff. You can kind of start that next game with some rust. Hopefully we won't have any of that. I think we've had a solid week of practice so far. Going back from Wednesday to now, I think we've been solid. I'm looking forward to watching the girls play this weekend.
Please, Coach, tell our audience a little more about this year's roster, sort of the roster makeup, the blend of newcomers along with a great senior class, strong junior class as well. Seems like you got a lot of different things covered with this roster as far as different dynamics as far as the actual playing styles and who's on out there. But from your vantage point, can you explain sort of this year's makeup of the roster?
Yeah, we returned 12 from last year's roster. Like last year, we went on a decent playoff run, got knocked off by NC Wesleyan in the semifinals, and we got 12 players back from that roster. And we were able to add 6 that are really, really going to help us, Phil. You saw some of them a couple nights ago. The impact that's being made by the newcomers is being felt, but as a group, we're pretty athletic. We're deep. We can shoot it well. The biggest thing that's sticking out right now is our rebounding. We got to rebound the ball better, Phil. And that's something that myself and Coach AB are harping on in practice. Once we get that, I think we don't have a ton of other things that can tug at us, but the rebounding is really big right now. It's paramount. It's something that we're talking about. It's something that we're trying to fix as a team. But overall, it's a group that can get up and down the floor. We can press if we need. We can defend in the half court. We have a lot of versatility. We have a lot of players that can plug different holes, and that's a coach's dream, to have depth and have multiple pieces that you can call on in the game. You never know what the game's going to throw at you. And being able to have different tools in our toolbox, that's really going to help us down the stretch, as well as keeping legs fresh.
Makes a lot of sense, Coach. Well, first up is Guilford at Greensboro, North Carolina on Thursday. And, for some of those newcomers who you mentioned, it'll be their first collegiate, road trip in college basketball. For some of them, it'll be their first time doing it with the Tornadoes. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges and, again, maybe the opportunities in hitting the road and taking, this show to a place like Guilford?
Yeah, and really good basketball team, for one. That's a good team that we're going to play over there. And road trips, to me, it's ways of bonding. It's a big team bonding thing. We'll hop on a bus. Not bus, we're going to van over. We'll drive over to Greensboro, and it's getting that cohesion at the start of the year. I love the bus trips and the van trips, and so occasionally we'll have the hotel stays. And to me, that's what a team kind of does that bonding. Because on the road, it's just us. Like, it's probably not going to be many fans in the stands, So we'll have to be our own biggest cheerleaders. And I think a lot of chemistry comes from that.
Yeah, outstanding. Then back to the Bosch on Friday evening. It's a 6 p.m. matchup versus Meredith. It's Arby's Youth Day as well. But it's also the USA South Conference opener, Coach. And, obviously whenever it's a league game, stakes are that much higher. Would love for your, preview of Meredith and, what that means to the team to get off on a fast start in USA South Conference play as well.
Oh, man, it's huge, Phil. It's huge. Like, every time we play a conference opponent, you're either going to go up in the standings or you're going to go down in the standings, and so we want to make sure that we're ready for that game, and that's why we try to play a few games before we get into conference. Like, this is pretty early to be playing a conference game, but it's the schedule. It's what's been given to us, and we'll deal with it. We'll play the hand that we're dealt. But Meredith's a good team. We split with them last year. We beat them at their place earlier in the year, and they came here, I want to say, in early February, maybe either early February or late January, and they knocked us off here. So we'll know what to expect from them. The same coach is still there. They've graduated some of their talent, but still a good team. Still a good team. But I tell you what, Phil, we'll be ready for that one. We'll be ready to go.
And looking ahead even further, Tuesday, November the 21st, is part of a men's and women's doubleheader. The women's team, Coach, you all will go at 5 p.m. versus Warren Wilson, and then the men's team to follow. Always a great atmosphere at the Bosch for those doubleheaders. Hope we can get a big crowd out there for the Warren Wilson game. Care to comment on that one as well?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the biggest things that I missed about our Division II days. There were a ton of doubleheaders, either on the road or here. And we don't get to watch the men play a ton. Either like we're playing somewhere and they're playing somewhere, or we're in practice and they're having a game. But in those doubleheaders, you get to go play our game, hopefully get a win, go get some food, and then go sit in the stands and go support the guys. That's one of the things I really, really miss about how things used to be here. Hopefully we can get a nice crowd in there to watch us play then and watch the men get a victory as well.
Yeah, outstanding. So it's a couple big opportunities for NATO Nation. Come on out on Friday. Tornadoes hosting Meredith. That's a 6 p.m. tip-off. And then mark your calendars, Tuesday, November 21st, a doubleheader. Women's game at 5, men to follow versus Warren Wilson, joined by head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson. Coach, can you stick with us just a couple moments longer? We're going to invite in a couple of your student athletes into the program now. And looking forward to welcoming these two. Naliyah Boyce has entered the conversation. Also, Alexis Marshall as well. Coach, before we let you go, let NATO Nation what these two are all about.
Yeah, two phenomenal women, Phil. Two phenomenal women. Naliyah Boyce from McDowell High School in Marion, North Carolina, and Alexis Marshall from Crest High School over in Shelby. So both not too far away from home. And we're going to be leaning on both of them throughout the year. They know what they bring to the team. They know what we expect from them as far as a leadership standpoint and production on the floor and being locker room voices. They've done a really good job thus far, and I don't expect anything else going through the rest of this season.
Yeah, well said, Coach. And, love seeing these two on the court as well and all that they can provide. Coach, best of luck this week at Guilford. We'll see you Friday at the Bosch.
Yeah, thank you, Phil.
You got it, Coach. Great to be joined by Coach Donald Hudson. Appreciate his joining the show. And now Naliyah Boyce has joined us as well in that upper right corner. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. And Alexis Marshall here on Tornado Talk also. How are you, Alexis?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Well, Naliyah, first things first, how does it feel to finally have the season off and running where you guys aren't just practicing against yourself over and over and over again? You're actually playing opponents now.
Yeah, it feels great. I'm actually really excited to get things started. I've been looking forward to us having our first game, and it's finally here, and I just can't wait to get the season kicking. And we're on the roll.
And you did get it going in great fashion, an 80-60 win over Bob Jones. How did that feel, to get that first win?
Oh, it felt great. I had no worries with the group that we have. I feel like we're phenomenal players, and I knew we were going to go out and get the job done, but it was great to see how good our work is paying off.
Yeah, no doubt. And Alexis, same question for you. You guys worked really hard during that preseason, but it has to feel good to finally get the season going. You feel like you're in a different rhythm now that the season's off and running?
Yeah, I was very excited for our first game, and I'm glad we came out with a dub. I really love our team and our team chemistry. I think that our team is really good, and we have the potential to go far.
Tell us a little bit more, Alexis, about that team chemistry you speak of. What makes this group, click?
We're all close. We're all goofy, and we all just like to spend time with each other. Even when we're not on the court, we're together.
I see you nodding your head, Naliyah. Anything to add to that?
Oh, we just love going everywhere together, whether it's class to the CAF, outside of class, doing homework, anything. We're always with each other. It's a sisterhood for real.
Yeah, we talked to Coach about sort of like that sisterhood that can be, built up even more on those road trips. And you got the first one on Thursday. Do you have any words of advice to maybe, a freshman who's never been on a Brevard College women's basketball road trip before? Naliyah?
My only advice would be, just enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. We have fun. I love our road trips. It's a time for us to bond on the bus, and then getting off the bus, getting ready to prepare for a game, and then the ride back, we evaluate everything, and we're always all there for each other, and it's fun. I love it.
Do you enjoy the road as well, Alexis?
I do.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would say is sometimes when we're on the road, we don't need to get in our head and be like, oh, this is such a long bus ride. We just got to stay together and go get another dub.
Very good. Well said. And, there's the veteran leadership on this team, you two included, a lot of players who've been around and know their way around this program. Naliyah, how important is that, to have that experience and have that sort of leadership on this team?
I think it's important for us to be able to uplift our younger classmen and also our older classmen, because there's some things that we could see that they cannot. And I think it's important that we all voice our opinions and try to help each other out, because at the end of the day, we are a team and everybody's voice matters. So I think from a leader standpoint of me being a junior, I think it's important to push these younger girls, to be the best that they can be, and give them all the encouragement that we can and all the knowledge that we have so that they're successful just as we were.
Alexis, does it feel different now that you're in your senior year? And, do you see yourself in a different role here with the Tornadoes women's basketball team?
I do. It's kind of sad. It's my senior year. But I love encouraging my teammates, even if I'm not on the court. And I think that everybody has a voice, and I think that it's good that not just me and Naliyah, but everybody has a chance to speak up and say what they need to.
Well, would like NATO Nation to learn a little bit about each of your journeys. And Naliyah's out of Marion, North Carolina, just over that mountain on I-40, in McDowell County. Naliyah, tell us a little bit about your upbringing as a basketball player, and then eventually, how you made your way here to Brevard College.
So I started playing basketball when I was really little. I honestly don't even remember how young I was, maybe like 3 or 4. And I played all through elementary school, middle school, high school. It's just something I've always loved to do. And so it's basically like therapy for me. Like I get out there and everything else is just on pause. Going to here, people may know me and McKenna Parkins are from the same place. We grew up playing together. I played with her ever since middle school. And when she left me, because we're a year apart, when she left me her senior year, I always dreamed to play with her again. I just love the connection we have. So when I seen that Coach Hud had interest in me, I took that opportunity, and I'm glad I chose to come here because it probably was one of the best decisions of my life. I've enjoyed every moment I've spent here. I love being a NATO.
Outstanding. I love that story and how, you that bonding with McKenna ever since middle school, pays off now. One of you a junior, the other a senior on this year's squad. Alexis Marshall, senior guard out of Shelby, North Carolina. Tell us a little bit about your basketball journey and, how you made your way to Brevard College.
I started basketball when I was in elementary school. I played all the way until now. And I originally went to Montreat College, and then I entered the transfer portal and reached out to here, and it just felt like home. I connected very well with the coaches. I met teammates, and I really love the atmosphere that they had here.
Glad you both ended up being tornadoes, no doubt about that. Naliyah, Boyce, tell us a little bit what you're up to in the classroom. What are you working on academically?
So I actually have switched my major, and I'm majoring in psychology with a minor in criminal justice. Right now I'm taking a bunch of psych classes and senior preparation classes, getting ready to be done soon. It's coming. It's
It
coming
comes
faster than
quick, doesn't it?
expected. Yeah.
Alexis Marshall, senior, what will your degree be in? And tell us, what your ambitions are beyond that.
My degree will be in health science, and right now I'm a CNA, but I plan to be a nurse or nurse practitioner. So after this, I'll go to nursing school.
Outstanding. Congrats on that, and keep up the great work, both of you. These two, along with the women's basketball team, will be in action on Thursday in Greensboro at Guilford, but then a chance to see them right here at the Bosch on Friday. That's a 6 p.m. start versus Meredith in the USA South Conference opener. Last basketball one before we let you guys go. What's going to be the key this year, to the Tornadoes having a big season, maybe, some hardware, all these kind of things. I might be getting ahead of myself. And, the coaches always say one game at a time and all that, but I can get excited over here. But really, what's going to be the key for you all putting together the kind of season you guys really want to see for yourselves? Naliyah?
I think us just staying focused and staying determined to meet the goal that we have set for ourselves and not letting anything distract us and just going into practice every day. And like Coach always says, if we want to be a championship team, we have to practice like a champion and we have to strive to be a champion. So I think just doing the little things right, executing everything, locking into everything we need to know, and being as mentally and physically prepared as we can to succeed and reach the goal we can, and giving it our all and 100%, and knowing that we can't back down and we have to compete all 4 quarters is going to be really essential in getting us to where we need to go.
Very good. Well said. Alexis, anything to add to that?
I agree. I think that a big key is for us to just stay together and stay focused. And also, like Coach said before we got on, rebounding is a main thing that we need to focus on. And I feel like if we can rebound, then, we can make it further. But just staying together as a team will really help us.
Well said. And looking forward to every step along this journey for this Brevard College women's basketball team. Can't wait to see you back in action this Friday at the Bosch versus Meredith. Want to give you each the opportunity, as is a tradition here at Tornado Talk, for shout outs or thank yous. Naliyah, you're up first.
I would like to give a shout out to my parents. I want to say thank you to them for giving me the opportunity to be here. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Coach Hud and Coach AB for giving me the opportunity to do what I love most. And never they are always encouraging me and never seen any downfall. I love them as coaches, and outside of coaching, they're really good people to be around and talk to and give you advice. And of course, my teammates, I love every single one of them, and I'm so excited and thankful for the bonds that we have created and will continue to create.
Alexis, shout outs?
First, I want to thank God for giving me the ability to play. And then I want to thank my family, especially my stepdad. He's pushed me my entire life to become great. I want to thank the coaches, AB and HUD, for pushing us and making us who we are. And my teammates, of course, I love them. And also Andrew. I spent a lot of time in the training room, so I appreciate Andrew.
Andrew Westrick, the athletic trainer, getting the shout out. Very nicely done, both of you. Great job this evening on Tornado Talk. We'll see you at the Bosch on Friday. Best of luck at Guilford. Naliyah, Boyce, and Alexis Marshall. Thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Well, full disclosure, the men's basketball team is currently practicing in the Boshamer Gymnasium as we speak, as we're recording live here at Brevard College. They're preparing for a big matchup tomorrow, 7 p.m. in Greenville, South Carolina at Bob Jones. However, we were able to catch up with head men's basketball coach Lee Burgess, along with a couple of the stars of the men's basketball team, Quincy Carter and KK Horton, earlier this evening. And we're going to let you listen to that interview now. And until the next time, we'll see you on Tornado Talk. No show next week due to some scheduling conflicts and also the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday, but we'll see you on that first Monday after Thanksgiving. And a big thank you to those who helped behind the scenes this evening. Also, producer Joseph Marvin, and also providing production support, Emily Denega and Cassidy Hutto. Thanks, NATO Nation, for continuing to tune in to Tornado Talk. Men's basketball coming up here. And joined now by head men's basketball coach Lee Burgess at the helm of the Brevard College Tornadoes as the 2023-24 season now underway. Coach Burgess, thanks for joining the program.
Yeah, good to be back, Phil. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, the start of another men's basketball season, and things are well underway. A lot of folks in NATO Nation just now catching up with it because we've been in the middle of fall sports, but a couple of Division I exhibitions last week, a trip to Spartanburg, South Carolina to take on Wofford, followed by a trip to Rock Hill, South Carolina to take on Winthrop, and then the regular season opener versus Montreat. Coach, take us through this past week and, how the Tornadoes fared and what were some of the learnings and so forth.
Yeah, it was a tough week for us, just in terms of playing, 3 scholarship level basketball programs. Obviously, everybody knows Winthrop and Wofford being Division I are full scholarship, but then Montreat being an NAIA school that offers basketball scholarships as well. 3 opportunities for us to go play against some very good competition. So starting with Wofford on Monday, again, it was a lot of fun to be a part of. I thought we played well. I thought we put a good foot forward, leading for most of the first half in that game, and feeling like we played well and made Wofford really, really work for everything they got. Was a good first outing for us. The Winthrop game on Wednesday did not go quite like that. That was a little bit different animal. Wofford has size. Winthrop has size as well, and I do think has a little bit more athleticism as well, which was difficult for us to deal with around the basket. I felt like we got some pretty good looks against Winthrop that we just didn't make them. And in a game like that, you've got to really be clicking on all cylinders to keep it competitive. And we were not clicking on all cylinders, and it got to be what it got. So, told our guys though, we're going to learn throughout this year. We're going to learn when we do things that are done well. We're going to learn when we learn things when we don't do them well. And so we were able to take a lot from both of those games heading into Montreat, which counted as a game for us on Friday. And, again, we did a lot of good things in that game Friday. I wish we could have played a little bit more efficiently offensively in the second half to potentially come out on top in that game. we had 16 turnovers for the game. And I think just kind of on rough count, watching film, half of them were pretty careless turnovers by us. And when you're dealing with a 1 or 2 possession game like that, 8 careless turnovers makes a difference. And so opportunity lost for us against a good team at home. But we've gotten out of the gate here against 3 strong teams. So hopefully that prepares us well for what's left to come, in our basketball season.
Yeah, and right off the bat, back to action tomorrow down to Greenville, South Carolina to take on Bob Jones, and then a weekend trip to Birmingham, Alabama for the Black Tie Classic, matchups against Birmingham Southern and also Swanee. More action right away here, all on the road, Coach.
Yeah, and the little scheduling quirk in our scheduling, just to kind of give you a long story. I'll try to condense it as much as I can here for you, Phil. So we have to give 1 day off a week, NCAA rules, right? And so last week we practiced Sunday because we played Monday. We practiced Tuesday because we played Wednesday. We practiced Thursday because we played Friday. So we had to be off on Saturday. So now we look into this week and we played Tuesday. So we're going to practice today, Monday. And then we could either be off Wednesday or this last Sunday. I didn't really want to have just 1 day prep Thursday to go play a Friday, Saturday game. So we're going to practice on Wednesday, which means we were off Sunday. So we were off Saturday, Sunday, a back-to-back day off, which is really unusual at this time of year to have that happen. I'm not a big fan of that, but I felt like it was the lesser of 2 evils. So we haven't done anything with Bob Jones yet. When we get on the practice floor today, it'll be our first look at them, with our team. So we'll have that. We'll go down, to Bob Jones and play. And, it's a team that plays hard. They're playing a little differently than they have in the past. They've played a lot of man-to-man against us. And I think we're going to see a lot of zone. At least that's what they showed in their first 2 games this year, a lot of zone. And then some very skilled offensive players. So we will certainly have to come ready to play. We split with this team last year. So I would anticipate a competitive game for sure. And then Birmingham Southern is a team we haven't played really. So we obviously haven't gotten into any kind of scout with them as we've been focusing on Bob Jones now. So they had a close win on the road at Toccoa Falls, and they lost to LaGrange. Birmingham Southern did. So I'm sure it will be a quality team. They were picked in the upper half of the SAA. So be a good test for us playing on their home floor for sure. Then Sewanee's a team we're familiar with, an NCAA tournament team last year, a team that we played a couple times and have come out on the short end of that stick both times that we've played them. So they've got a lot of their key pieces back off those teams. So it'll be our guys will have a level of familiarity with them that we don't have against Birmingham Southern.
Season underway, and when one looks at the roster, can't fail to notice incredible senior class, graduate students as well, big-time veteran leadership on this year's club.
We do. We have it. The retention has been really, really good. A lot of experience. And, we've had a couple guys decide to come back and play as graduate students, and then have added a grad transfer as well to that mix. So a very experienced team, and a lot of guys that have been through the wars, with me and Coach Miles before. So, it does feel like we're a little accelerated in terms of where our team is right now compared to years past. And I do think that is because of our experience and familiarity with each other. So hopefully that can pay dividends and we get off to a good start this season. But I'm pleased with where we are, even though we're sitting at 0-1. We're in good shape right now. We've got to stick with it and tighten up a few things, and we'll be fine.
And looking at the roster even further, very deep as far as, the total number of players on the roster, the amount of options you have, for different looks and so forth. Please talk about, the depth of this year's club and all the different combinations you can go with.
There's a lot of them. Don't think I've had, a depth chart quite like this in my time here. We really have, in all honesty, 15 guys that we could put on the floor and feel completely comfortable with our team operating at a high efficiency. And it's hard to play 15 guys in a game, so trying to define roles well, making sure that guys are staying hungry and being held accountable, but also having some freedom to do what they need to do and play without feeling like they're on a really, really short leash. It's a line that we'll have to walk, as a coaching staff throughout this year. But I'm appreciative of all of our guys, the guys that are probably good enough to play and good enough to play in other programs that maybe aren't quite getting the amount of minutes that they would like here. Super appreciative of them and hope we can continue to be a cohesive unit. And then, some of our younger guys that are, not really in that rotation right now. They're getting some really, really good, on the job training and practice every day. And when some of these older guys get out of here, then they're next in line and ready to keep this thing going.
Yeah, and that depth chart obviously creates all sorts of competition, whether it be in practice or, the sorts of performances you see on game night. It's just a healthy atmosphere to have for the team, correct, Coach?
It is. Yeah. I mean, it certainly can be, and that's what we hope it is. We hope it's healthy competition. And as long as we are in a place where, we're competing hard in practice and helping to sharpen each other up, but then also realize we are teammates. These are our teammates, and we want to support them as well, and we want to celebrate each other's successes. So if we can keep that mentality throughout, then it can be a really big advantage for us that I'm hoping we can count on.
Well, the Tornadoes back in action tomorrow. That's Tuesday, 7 o'clock in Greenville, South Carolina versus Bob Jones. Great opportunity for fans in the upstate area if you just want to make the trip down to Greenville, not too far of a drive. And then the Tornadoes hit the road, Birmingham, Alabama, Friday and Saturday, a couple matchups there. And then the next home game, if you want to mark your calendars, fans, the Tornadoes hosting Warren Wilson on Tuesday, November the 21st, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, a doubleheader with the women's team. Coach, before we let you go, before we bring in the student athletes, it's great to finally get basketball underway at the Bosch and
I agree.
To get this thing started. And we've got another opportunity next week, a doubleheader with the women. In case we don't see some of our audience between now and then, please, just if you can tell our folks what it's like to see a game at the Bosch, how much fun it is, and how that Warren Wilson and the rest of the home schedule is going to be great options for folks.
Yeah, I mean, our games with Warren Wilson have traditionally been pretty exciting. It's a school not far away from us, and so a little bit of a crosstown rivalry there. And so the games with them have usually been fun to watch and exciting. That game Tuesday, like you're talking about with Warren Wilson, doubleheader with the women. So you get a chance to come and watch a couple games with only having to get in the car once to get over here to do it. We've done a lot of renovating in the gym that you definitely come check out. New paint on the court, new scoreboards, new shot clocks. So new baseline padding. So some new touches, which are aesthetically very pleasing to the eye to come check out. But the gym, it's a great place to have a basketball game. It gets really, really loud when people start making noise. It holds noise really well, and is a fun environment to be a part of. And that Tuesday is the last day of classes before Thanksgiving break happens. So some of the students, I think, will probably be getting out and heading home to get ready for Thanksgiving. So the more community we can get to come out, the better it'll be for us. So please do come out, check us out, and make lots of noise.
Yep, that's Tuesday of next week. Tornadoes, men and women's basketball in action on that evening, the 21st of November. Coach, stick with us just a couple moments longer. We're going to invite in a couple of your student athletes, a couple of those veterans who we spoke of. KK Horton has entered the building, also Quincy Carter. Coach, before we let you go, help introduce these two even further to NATO Nation.
Yeah, so I'll start with Quincy Carter, one of our graduate students, been in the program, his fourth year in the program now. Super thankful for him and his leadership and what he's meant to the program, and excited that he chose to come back, use his COVID year, and start working on a master's and play basketball for the Tornadoes. Then KK Horton, right here in Asheville, to Asheville Christian Academy. Third year in the program, second year on the court after getting through some injuries his first year. And KK, a very dynamic scorer, good on ball defender, and has a very infectious personality with his enthusiasm, which we certainly appreciate as well. So, both these guys mean a lot to our program. If these guys here have good years, then I believe that the NATOs will be set up for success for sure.
Well said, Coach. Well, appreciate you joining us on this edition of Tornado Talk. Best of luck versus Bob Jones and the rest of the week ahead, and we'll see you soon at the Bosch.
Great. Sounds good. Appreciate it.
All right, there he goes, Coach Burgess. And as Coach Burgess helped to introduce these two, KK Horton in the upper right location. How you doing, KK?
Doing well. How you doing, Phil?
Doing great. And Quincy Carter with us as well. How are you, Quincy?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, Phil?
Doing great. Especially now the basketball season's underway. It's a whole different vibe around the Bosch, once the season's underway. All right, KK Horton. Well, let's start with that. KK, where'd the name start? Everyone calls you KK. We got told early on, like, hey, use KK with the announcements and all these things. Tell us a little bit of the background on your name and your nickname.
Okay, yeah, it's not really like a deep meaning behind it. It's just when I was younger, ever since I was younger, my oldest brother, he just gave me that nickname and just kind of ran with it. Now, like, all my friends call me KK. It doesn't even mean for anything because my name is Kevin Horton. I don't even have a middle name. So people ask me where the second K came from. I'm just like, I don't know. My brother just gave me that nickname and then just stuck with it. Now everybody calls me KK.
Thanks for clarifying that. I remember when you first arrived on campus, people were mentioning KK, and I'm looking down on the roster, and I'm like, I can't find a KK. I don't know who you're talking about, but now we got it all straight. Third year, and everybody knows you around campus. And Quincy Carter with us as well. Hey, Quincy, how did it feel to finally get the season off and running? I know it wasn't the result you wanted at Montreat, but just the idea that you guys are back in action, playing, back in the groove of playing games instead of just all the preseason practice had to feel good.
Yeah, it was very exciting to actually get on the court and face somebody else, because I was talking to Charles and KK during practice, and I was like, I'm tired of practicing against y'all. I'm tired of just going against y'all. Like, I want to go against somebody else. So it was pretty exciting to go against somebody else.
Yeah, and KK felt good to finally get out there. Both the exhibition games where you guys faced some tough D1 opponents, but also, get going against Montreat as well. I know not the results you guys wanted, but had to feel good to finally get the ball tipped off in earnest.
Did feel really good. Like going off Q said, we just been waiting because this year we started practicing a little earlier than before. So we've been practicing, putting our head down. We've been going hard, and, we're finally ready. We're excited to play.
KK, we'll stick with you. We're seeing some of your stats there. And the first one up there was about last season. You're amongst the team leaders in both steals and assists. Tell us a little bit about those two parts of the game, the distribution and also on the defensive end, producing those steals.
Yeah, like one of my biggest things is guarding. I love playing defense. I love getting steals. And that's one thing I can do to help the team. I can score, but I can really help the team more by defending, getting steals, getting the ball out of Quincy, LB, Carson. That's what I love doing, playing fast.
Yeah, no doubt. And Quincy Carter, last year actually second in the team in scoring. So you're one of those scorers KK's talking about there. And then also, put together a team high 34 minutes in the game versus Montreat. Tell us a little bit about carrying that kind of load minute wise. Is that something you consider part of your game, that you can play deep into these games and tote a lot of minutes like that?
Yeah, I feel like I can tote a lot of minutes because of the conditioning coach put us through during practices, and just conditioning I've been keeping myself up with, just making sure my body's ready to go. If coach want to leave me out there, I'm gonna stay out there and compete, because if he want me out there, I'm doing something good. So I'm gonna just stay out there and just play hard, and my win gonna be good for sure. So I'm just waiting on him to take me out.
Very good. So KK, now that you guys have completed preseason practice, you got a couple games under your belt as well. Tell us about this year's team. We've got the veteran leadership, got all sorts of talent up and down the roster, but someone who's been in the inside, what makes this team special?
I think this year it's like, well, going off what Coach was saying, one of our main words in the locker room is selfless. So whether I'm playing good, whether Q's playing good, or one of our teammates, we're happy for them. Nobody's mad. Nobody's angry that they're not getting enough minutes. We just really want to win, and we believe we can do that with this year.
Yeah, Quincy, anything to add to that as far as this year's team, the kind of depth you guys have, and also the combination of veterans and young players?
I just feel like this year we're definitely deeper than we ever been. I feel like practice has been more competitive, which is a good thing. We be getting after it, but we also is more together. Like everybody love each other. Everybody love hanging out with each other. Like if you see us late at night, we chilling with each other. Like we always together. So it's hard to break that up. So I feel like we in a good spot right now.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind is unity. As
Yep.
you mentioned all that you guys are a close-knit group. You guys stick together. That's great stuff. Well, a big week ahead, 3 road games when you add it all up, KK. You know, a trip to Greenville tomorrow, and then you guys are heading all the way down to Birmingham, Alabama. Coach Burgess's old neck of the woods down there in Alabama. You're heading down there. But tell us, you know, as far as, you know, the mindset of the team this week, the things you guys are looking to accomplish, and, you know, what's going to be the key to getting in the W column this week.
Okay, so going off Montreux game, like Coach was saying, we made a few mistakes, but those mistakes are going to get fixed as we practice. You know, that was our first home game. People might have been a little nervous, but you know, once we get those little tweaks, I think we're going to be really good. We're going to be really good. Quincy,
what can you add to that?
I just like based off what KK said, just change up the little minor mistakes we made with turnovers, make our free throws, and just getting better offense. Basically, what Coach said too as well. And we go in on Tuesday, handle our business, and because over the last year we won more road games than home games. I feel like we play better as a road team anyway, so I feel like we can go in and just go ahead and go 3-0.
So the road doesn't really phase you guys. In fact, you use it as an advantage, which is interesting. KK Horton, you know, from just down the road in Asheville, North Carolina, Asheville Christian Academy. Tell us a little bit about your background playing ball in Asheville, but also, you know, how cool it is to be that close to home and play here at Brevard.
Yeah, back in Asheville, back in my old high school team, I had a lot of great players that some of them went to the Division I level, and I was always able to play with good players, with a good coach. And it's a blessing being right down the road. So like friends and family can always watch me play and I can stay close to home. I love it.
Yeah, and Quincy Carter, graduate student from Decatur, Georgia. Seems like there's a lot of student athletes from a lot of different sports, Quincy, you know, from kind of that region, you know, that greater Atlanta area and so forth. And, you know, tell us a little bit about your background there and then also what it's like to be here at Brevard.
Like I always say, we breed great athletes in Georgia and definitely in Decatur. So I grew up in Decatur, went to Southwest DeKalb High School, grew up with a bunch of great players. My dad's a former Georgia athlete, star player, played in the NFL. So just being a good athlete always been in my blood, and just playing with great players back in my hometown, it was just it taught me how to play the game and made me better.
Yeah, and Quincy, has Brevard been a good fit for you? You know, not too far away from Atlanta, but in Decatur, but just far enough, right?
Yeah, just only a 2-hour drive. Anytime I feel like going home, I could just make that 2-hour drive and go straight home.
Very good. KK Horton, tell us a little bit what you're up to in the classroom. What are you working on academically?
So I'm an exercise science major. So hopefully, you know, I'm trying to get into like personal training, helping others, whether that's on a basketball court or a different sport. I just want to be still like into sports and helping other kids out.
Very good. And Quincy Carter, a graduate student, let us know what program you're working on your graduate degree on.
I'm working in the emergency management department. I'm trying to get my master's in that right now, but I'm also still trying to be a college coach. I want to be a grad assistant somewhere after I finish my year here at Brevard.
Sounds like you guys are both passionate about the sport of basketball. No doubt about that. Well, before we let you go, do want to give you the opportunity for any shout outs, thank yous, anybody you just want to say what's up to. You know, the floor is yours, KK Horton.
Now, I want to thank my teammates, my family, especially my coaches, and then the Brevard environment, the people here. Love y'all.
Quincy?
Just give a shout out to my family and my teammates. Love them boys. And that's pretty much it.
All right, KK Horton and Quincy Carter, two of the stars on the BC men's basketball team. They'll be in action at Bob Jones tomorrow, Tuesday, down in Greenville, South Carolina. KK, Quincy, best of luck this week. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. And that wraps up another edition of Tornado Talk. Glad you're able to join us wherever you may be tuning in from. Make sure you follow the Tornadoes on social media, and we'll see you at an upcoming Brevard College Tornado Athletic event. Go Tornadoes!